take me home to Nova Scotia. My tank is getting low, the gears are making sounds, and when I limp into this place, my memories erase, and the current of the river drags them further down. And so I'm headed out southbound on Church Street, with the steeple in the rear view losing sight. Seems like every time I gas up in Bathurst, I head for Nova Scotia, salt water in my eyes. But I know we were never meant to be, and I'm glad our love has drifted out to sea. But it gets so cold, shipwrecked on the shores all alone. And when I come to town, it's as a working man, I scrape a memory from a corner of my mind, toss it in the river. So I just made my way down to the trailhead here at Cape Chignecto, and the beginning of the hike here at the Cape is along the beach. Apparently these tides come in at a rate of 1 inch per minute, so it's really important to know where you're at in the tide cycle. Make sure you don't get stuck on the beach, because as you can see off in the distance here, the cliffs down to the water are pretty sharp and the tide comes right up to them. So the tide is going out at the moment. High tide is at about 6:30 p.m. It's about 9 a.m. now. So I just passed kilometer 6. I'm in between Arch Gulch and Refugee Cove. So it's only 10:30 in the morning. I've been on the trail for about an hour and a half, and I'm, I guess, about a quarter of the way to my camp tonight. Well, I'm still hiking down. For hiking boots, I use these Sims fly fishing waders. And people probably think I'm crazy, but I've hiked a long way in these boots, and they're designed to get wet and dry out fast. So for through hikes, rather than avoiding water the whole trip, I prefer to get myself a comfortable boot that is designed to get wet and dry out. So they work pretty well for me. I've never taken them on a 3-day hike before. We'll see how they hold up, but so far so good. And these uphill switchbacks can seem like they go on forever. I swear to God, every time you get around another turn, just keeps going higher. But luckily, when we were in lockdown, the pandemic was in full swing, I got my exercise by walking the stairwell of my building. I live in downtown Halifax, and there's 23 flights or 23 stories in my building, and when we weren't allowed to be out in public or go to the gym, I'd walk the stairwell 4 times a day. And little did I know it, was perfect training for Cape Chignecto. So the sun's popped out, the wind's died down, and it's turned into a really nice little hike.
The one previous time I hiked Chignecto was with my father in, I think, 2017. And neither of us had ever done any through hiking before. We'd only done day hikes and camping trips. And so I gave him the light pack, which was probably 45 pounds, maybe 50. And my pack was loaded up, it was probably about 70 pounds. We had everything with us, it was overkill, and the hike damn near killed us. And so a year later, Dad and I landed in Tanzania, and we did a 9-day hike to the summit of Kilimanjaro, which in all honesty was easier than Chignecto. So I just passed kilometer 10, so it means I'm about halfway to Little Bald where I'm camping tonight. And it's just afternoon, so 3 hours in, I made it halfway to camp. I'm gonna slow down my pace just a little bit, and I should still get to camp nice and early. More downhill. So just had lunch at Refugee Cove, really nice spot. And apparently when the Acadians were expelled from Nova Scotia, a bunch of them wintered here in this very spot, hid out from the British. It must have been a pretty miserable winter, but it looks pretty nice today on a nice sunny summer day. I just met a nice girl back there who's hiking by herself as well. I didn't get her name, but she's staying at the same campgrounds that I am both nights, so I'm sure we'll get a chance for introductions later. Here's what's left of an old foundation. Seven kilometers to go to Little Bald Rock. Looks like we got a lot more uphill here for a while. So I just ran into a group of 3 descending down into Refugee Cove. They're doing a 3-night hike. They're going the opposite direction that I went. So they're on their second day and they're done tomorrow after camping at Refugee. So they told me the Eatonville campsite is really nice, and especially campsite 1 is right on the water. The signs for the campsites aren't affixed to anything, so I might be able to just swap them and get site 1 after all. So not recommended, but anyways, it's nice running into people out here on the trail. Everybody's having a good time. Still going up. we're getting pretty close here now to the Cape. And this is where the views start to change for the better. So I just made it to kilometer 16, and I could have swore I passed 16 2 kilometers ago. And the day is getting long. So 2 more kilometers, and then we'll round the Cape, and 2 more K to Little Bald Rock. So I just got to kilometer 18, which means about 2 kilometers left to go before camp. I thought I'd tell you guys a little bit about my pack. This is the MEC Crosswind. I'm not a gearhead by any means, but I think it's a 45-liter pack. It's got a main vestibule here where I have my sleeping bag, clothes, and tent. There's a pouch up front where I put my first aid kit, food, anything I need to get at in a hurry. There's clips for camp shoes. There's a water bottle on each side. And there's zip-ups on the belt so that you can keep your phone or snacks or anything like that ready to go. It's got a mesh back and an outside frame. It's a really comfortable pack, and it lets your back breathe when you're sweating, carrying a heavy load. So nothing fancy, but perfect for me. So I'm about a half a kilometer from camp. I just finished my drinking water and stopped at a creek to fill it up. And of course my filter's clogged. I tried to backwash it, but it wasn't working. So I think tonight at camp, I'm gonna boil some water and try to clean it, try to loosen it up. But another gal on the trail came by and we were talking about filtering. This is before I knew mine was clogged. She said she brought some purification tablets with her just in case. So, plan B, I'll have my own water supply for tomorrow by boiling, and hopefully I can loosen up whatever's clogged in the filter and backwash it. So I just ran into the lady with the tablets. Her name's Katrina. She's got 7 of them, and each one handles a liter of water. So she's got plenty. She offered me one, but we're almost to camp. If I can't get this Sawyer sorted this evening, then I'll probably hit her up for a couple tablets. And well, now I feel like $1,000,000 because I found a little place to clean up. And I'm out here on the rocks. Home sweet home. Wow, smells good. So this section of the trail is pretty damp. It's been this way for a few kilometers now. And I guess it's going to be this way for a while. So I made it to Big Bald Rock Brook. So I found a note from Katrina at Big Bald. She was saying last night that there might be water reserves here. I boiled my water, so I'm fine for the day, but I found this note from her saying, I could not find drinking water. Hopefully you do. If not, here are 2 more tablets. Please do not take if you're not Andrew. But I just met a nice group of ladies who have done this trail a few times. They were going the opposite way as me. And they told me from here to Keyhole Brook, which is 4 kilometers away, it's really hilly up and down and pretty tough going. And then after Seahole Brook to Eatonville, which is where I'm camping tonight, apparently it's smooth sailing, at least as far as Chignecto is concerned, and I should be able to average 3 kilometers an hour. So looking forward to that. So local legend has it that A.J.H, which you can see right there, moves throughout the day. And it's funny because I'm walking away from A.J.H and it appears closer to me today than it did yesterday when I was closer to it. The reality of the situation is that the tides are so strong here that as the tide goes out, the island looks much bigger and so it appears closer. And as the tide comes in, the island looks smaller and further away. So I ran into this couple about half a kilometer back, and they gave me a little heads up that this is one of the best spots on the trail to stop for lunch. It's this little kind of hidden look off. So they gave me the lowdown on how to get out here, and they weren't wrong. Can't think of a better spot to eat lunch. So according to my map, way out here is Green Point. From where I am, it's roughly 10 kilometers, and then another 3 into Eatonville, and that'll be my day. kilometer 27. So, I just passed kilometer 27, which is halfway between Little Bald, where I camped last night, and Eatonville, where I'm camping tonight. The weather's still fantastic. Still lots of uphill, but and downhill. But it looks like I'll be evening out in about 2 kilometers. Once I hit Seal Cove, things will get pretty level. Just hit a nice flat patch of trail, and that hasn't happened in a while, so I'm cherishing it. And a place to grab a bite and recharge. Back to the trail, back to the uphill. So I just passed the 30K marker. That's 10 kilometers today. Up here, not too far. Once I hit Seal Cove, everything will be a little smoother on the trail. So standing out here on Green Point, I've got a few kilometers left to go to Eatonville, and from what I hear, it's relatively smooth hiking. So I'm gonna head into camp, make myself some dinner, tend to the wounds, and get ready for a hike out tomorrow to the Jeep. Since this is my last night in the bush, I thought I'd show you guys my tent. It's the Eureka Solitaire. And it's a small tent, big enough just for one person. But the coolest thing about it is if it's a clear night, like it's going to be tonight, you can take the fly off and literally sleep under the stars. And here's my cook kit. It's a jet boil. And dinner tonight is Irish shepherd's pie. So we just left camp at Eatonville, about 2 kilometers back. And we got a, I don't know, roughly 10K hike out to the beach. So I'm hiking today with Katrina, who helped me out with those water pills. Been talking on and off the whole time, so we decided to hike out today. So a few more kilometers through some pretty dense bush, but some pretty easy walking, and we'll be done. $7K to Red Rock.
Have your feet stay dry?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
So we're making pretty good time today. We're probably 3/4 of the way back to the Jeep, and just stopped at a stream to pick up some water and take a breather. There's not a lot of landmarks or sites on this part of the trail. So I'll probably just check in with you guys once we get back to the Jeep. So we made it to Red Rocks, the end of the hike. Katrina and I are a little worse for wear, but ready for some A&W. So I just made it back to the Jeep, soaked to the bone. Cape Chignecto, not just a walk in the park. Highly recommend it, guys.
For the way we say goodbye. And I head for Nova Scotia. Salt water in my eyes every time. I've looked out my share of motel windows.